Greetings, Royal Tribe. We are back again with another episode. I got a dear friend here with me today. For those that's new to this channel, welcome to CompasScope, where we are here to dive in the interconnected pieces of the mind, the body, the spirit, and soul. We're going to interview Marco and let him talk a little bit about his background, a little bit about his life, and just share some encouraging words to you guys and inspire you, because this one right here, listen, very inspirational. Before I let you introduce yourself, I've been knowing Marco for probably almost a year now, like exactly about a year, when because we did Shed the Stress, my event in the beginning of November, right?
Yes, correct.
So a couple of weeks before then, a mutual friend actually suggested that I speak to Marco and just raved about how amazing you are and the things that you do for the community. He's an advocate, a community leader. He's a business owner, all the things. So I'm not going to spill it. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Marco Mays, a.k.a. Sir Icon. Tell the people about yourself. Boost your soul. It's not the time to be humble. You know, it's the time to talk. Yes.
This is the time.
Let the people know who you are.
Okay. My name is Marco Mays. I live in Montgomery, Alabama, of course. To boost myself, I am an adventurer. I am an author. I am a advocate, very particular in HIV/AIDS and very particular in Black same-gender-loving males. And that kind of expands across the country, not just Alabama.
Yeah.
So my footprint for this city, for that kind of work, really expands kind of like worldwide, from Germany, Japan. It's a gambit. On the other side of that, like I said, I also work in entertainment. I model, I do a little acting. I'm a 3D visual artist. Most people don't know that about myself. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm a dad, I'm an uncle, all the above. So I have so many hats. A lot of times I always tell anybody, it's like, if you touch something, try to be the best at what you touch.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to do it all the time, and it may be your profession, but learn as much as you can about it. And then when you do that, you always put your best foot forward. And I live by that rule. So with all the hats that I have gained, it pretty much came from me being in a position, and then I just made it mine. That's pretty much what I did and have done, and get my whole quote-unquote Marco life.
Yeah.
Just little me.
Right. We are a brand, right?
Oh,
personality, the way we carry ourselves, the things that we do, the things that we advocate for, our voice, right? So tell us what made you want to be a voice for the people, because me being a leader myself, it's not for everybody, and you really have to be ready to be prepared. You got to be prepared for what comes with it, right? Because the benefit of it is, okay, we're rooting for these people, someone's hearing how they feel, and you're going to advocate for them and make sure, fighting for that equity. But in contrast, it's always going to be people that's going to, be opposed to what you're fighting for or what you're raising your voice for and wanting you to quiet down. So how did you become this version of yourself to walk in your most courageous, confident self? Because that's actually, your confidence is one of the, I love so many things about you, okay? But your confidence is one of those things that just really, when it comes to me, is like one of those features that really speaks out, that I personally admire about you. So what made you want to be a leader for the people, for the minorities, for the gay Black community, for the, all the things?
Yeah. Oh, wow. As one of my mentors used to say to me, it's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I always tell people to live by that. The best story I can tell you related to how I got to where I am now is I have to start with the story of, there was a point in time in my life where I didn't like anything about myself, not even my fingernail, my fingerprint. And we grew up in the South, right? The Bible Belt of the world, right? We grew up in the South, so religion is deep in us, right? So I was really in a dark, dark place where I felt that God made a mistake in making me.
Yeah.
And that took a toll. I mean, there were some very, very dark moments in my life. I look back at that to where, like, not liking myself, trying to be what someone else wanted me to be. And all of that just culminated one day. Very, very interesting story. Again, struggling with my sexuality, struggling literally just being a black man in America.
Alone, right?
Say that by itself. That's one bullseye. So I was born with that bullseye. The melanin of my skin, the gender of my sex, I was born with a bullseye immediately as soon as I came into this world. So when I came into understanding what those bullseyes were, I started to realize how much I did not know who I was. Because I tell everyone, start with you first. Figure out where you are accountable in every action that you do. And if you do that, you now get back to say, hey, I allowed that person to talk to me that way. I went down that road myself, and then I did it again. So, I mean, I knew what was going to happen because I learned the first time and just did not take accountability of my teaching for myself. And all of those things started to, like, really kind of ball up into me. And literally, I was in a club in D.C., and as we would know as non-binary now, would be a drag queen, came up to me. I was ordering a drink, and she's, oh my God, you're so cute. And I was sitting there like, who is she talking to? Like, she can't be talking to me. And so she's like, no, you. I was like, oh, hey, thank you. And she's like, you don't know you're cute? I was like, yeah. Maybe. That's what I said, right? Maybe. So at that point, she was like, no. She said, darling, you are drop dead gorgeous, and you should not let anybody tell you that you're not. And I'm not just talking about your outward appearance. She said, I've watched you walk around here at the club. You're with some friends, but you're by yourself, but you stay close and you do these things. She said, I've seen you before. You're very meek, you're very mellow, you're very to yourself, but you always have the exact same energy and presence every time you come in this club. Wow. And I was like, oh, somebody watching me? You know? At that point, like, somebody's watching me? But it really kicked off at that point. Marco could be more. And that's when I really started to realize how much of a cocoon I had kept myself in growing up. I was this little, as my friends call it now, you was this little caterpillar. It was in a cocoon. He was like this little caterpillar running into, and you wrap yourself in this cocoon, and now you're this beautiful moth in the world. So it was kind of like a cocoon phase. And then when I started learning different pieces, deeper transparency of Marco and the ability I had for myself, I then started seeing it not happen for others. And then that's how the advocacy piece, or be there for another human being, took off for my Yoruba dad. Be there for another human being. And even my mom and dad, they taught us to treat everyone growing up, treat everyone the exact way you want to be treated, regardless if they don't treat you that. You always stand your ground. You don't ever let someone have that much power over you to change you from you. Yes. And that has stuck with me, and it just took me to so many different aspects of the world, careers. I've been an HR manager. I've been intelligence officer. I'm a retired Navy. I've been instructors across the country. All these advocacy pieces did nothing but build me up to come back to be the native son to Montgomery, Alabama, to support everyone that I felt like I need to be supportive of. And I kind of know that's a longer answer, but it was like the journey, and the journey is still going on.
Yeah,
It's always
non-stop, right?
it's always continuing. I'm in a learning Marco phase right now again, so it never stops. Our evolution never stops.
Right.
And
If it stop growing, it's dead, right? Come on.
It is dead if it doesn't grow. So all of that really pulled me into taking those golden rules, inside of, I always tell people, I talk openly about my kinks and fetishes and whatever the case is. Most people think that's more of a shaming thing, but it's a very controlled community, and to where community, communication, boundary, consent, and safety play a very, very high guard inside of it. Mm-hmm. So if you follow those rules consistently in every other aspect of your life, you will truly get to a point where there's nothing that will bother you. Nothing will be able to offset you or you to let someone else have more control over you, to you do something that that's not what you would do in the action and saying. It will always give you that moment to step back, rationalize how I got to this point as me being Marco. And then now I can make that very solid vocal if I need to, or come to the same point where this is not worth my time or energy. Yeah. All I need to do is walk away and use it up. So you have to get to those points. I think a lot of people really, really miss those kind of opportunity of peace daily. And for me, I thrive on it. I mean, I'm just as much happy dancing in the club as I am sleep on the sofa when she got here. Okay. So I'm just as happy with that. But those are the pieces that truly make Marco. You know what I mean? And and everything that I do, I truly say everybody else can do it. It's just not a Marco thing. This is not something only Marco can do. Yeah. Everybody can do the exact same thing I'm doing. And it is like, why are you doing it? It's like people thrive in chaos. Thrive in chaos. Yes. And if we take that chaos out, wouldn't that be immediate peace?
Wow, yes. I think it's also two sides of it, because it's still chaotic, because your healing journey, self-reflecting, shadow work, looking back and looking at all the pieces of yourself that you love and the pieces of yourself that maybe you're not so proud of, that or you haven't learned to love them because you've been programmed that you should be ashamed of them, right? And they're going against the grain.
Yes.
So it's bottom plug or top plug, but they're going to lead to different conclusions, They're going to give you different products. So I think that's something that we both really put up when we first met, is talking about how we're both from the South, both raised in religious, have religious backgrounds. My grandmother is a pastor. I've been raised in Pentecostal apostolic my whole life. I got ministers. My mom is a minister. I got aunties that's a minister, right? Yeah. So like being that one eyeball, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage, but it goes back to how bad do you want it, right? And I also think who you surround yourself with.
Oh, yes.
Because if you're putting yourself in these places where you're surrounding yourself around people that don't love and accept all pieces of you, you're not going to love and accept the pieces of you. So you have to put yourself around people that really do embrace you and put you in that space so that you can grow, because even though you love or you have grace for pieces of yourself, that don't mean you have to accept that for what it is. If you want to grow into something better and bigger and you don't feel like it's your authentic self, you can do that. But you first have to love and embrace who you are now. So
I'm gonna add something to that. Now you have to learn to embrace who you were then, now, and what you're gonna be, right? Because all of them are you in your destiny's walk. There's nothing gonna change in the walk that your God gave you to walk. That is your destiny. That is your path. Those are your golden steps that you walk.
Mm-hmm.
And you tapped into two things when you said that a few minutes in my head. You made me think about
Talk to us.
when we do. Most people think about when I do. I think I was telling you I did a vision board party for New Year's one year, and I actually thinking about bringing it back again, doing a vision board party. At my vision board party, I had the individuals do their vision board. I also had them to do their failure boards. And of course, I got all these raccoon stares and everything. Like, why are we going to focus on what we fail at going into a new year? We're supposed to be doing things that are going to make us prosperous or thinking of us getting to our goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I suppose just do it. If you feel you had some failures or you feel some things that did not work out the way you need to work out, find a picture, cut it out, put it on the board. It don't have to be a lot. Just do a couple. Everybody needs to put at least 2 or 3 because we've all been through something, right?
Yeah.
So they did, right? So we got down to the whole presentation part of it after we ate and did our whole little resolution thing. I had individuals to start with their failure boards.
Mm.
And when they started with their failure board, I said, okay, tell me about this. Okay, hey, one individual had a college hat, the diploma hat, whatever, I forget what it is. He had to wear at graduation. She had not finished college. And that made her think about she felt like that was something she had not completed or something she needed to go back and complete. So she felt she had failed at it. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, so look at your vision board, which is the things you want to accomplish. What pushed you to that? What did this graduation hat, because you did not get that graduation hat, what did it cause you to do? And she was like, I said, that's connected to this board. So now she go over and reach that career-wise. We don't all have to have the alphabets behind our name to be successful.
They don't.
We do not have to do that. Society teaches us we have to, but we do not have to. But she was accomplishing these pieces in work. She had worked her way, as we know back in the day, civil service jobs. So now she is up to GS, whatever level, and she's accomplishing these things. And these are things that she wants to do, and blah, blah, blah. I said, well, how did you do that without your degree? And she was like, well, I worked hard or whatever the case. I said, this is why I want you to do your failure board. So you will understand everything over here is nothing but a campfire fuel for everything over here. Well, that's all it is. So this is why I'm having to do it.
Yeah.
To see what is fueling you to accomplish all these things. I said, that's all a failure is. Society teaches us failure is a negative thing. Failure is really a positive thing because it causes what? Growth.
Yeah.
If you're not growing, you're what?
Dang.
All right. So how are you gonna have all these visions with no wood?
Right. It's a part of the journey.
It's a part of it. So there is no such thing as good or bad. I literally say that there's no. We've been taught that the push to pull, or the God, the devil, the pull, the push, the north to south, the east to west, the up to down. There's always some type of balancing act that's been put against each other. Yeah. When reality, both still are there.
Yes.
They are there.
There is no positive without the negative. Both are necessary.
But there are necessary negatives and there are necessary positives, right?
Yes.
So if you have to have both to be a whole, why is society teaching us to take one out? We need it. It's the only way we're going to grow. Now I'm going to roll this back over to the other thing you said about pieces of me. Get your own Lego set. I'm telling you that. That's what I'm going to say. Become your own Lego set. Yeah. If that piece don't fit, you gonna force it? You gonna force it, but it ain't gonna stick. It's not gonna hold you together. Your Lego set will not stay together, right? So how are you building pieces? I'm like, I've created this thing, and I was working with my therapist for this, and I tell everybody, get a mental health therapist. It doesn't mean you
Excellent.
are, that is not saying, oh my God, I'm crazy or thinking something negative of it. Monday at 2:00 every week, I am religiously on my mental therapist couch.
Clock into your Zoom, baby.
Clock in, right? So, because it helps me unpack things that's going on in my life and see things I may not be able to see.
Exactly.
How we even connect. It's like, okay, you saw it in me. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You're right. So, but and same with you, right? Yeah. Like we see stuff in others that they don't see themselves sometimes.
Exactly.
So,
all the time.
All the time. Because of what? The same pressures from this has to be this way. You got to drive this. You got to live here. You got to work here. You got to write this. All these other societal pressures.
Yeah.
Of stuff that is wrong and right is now weighing on us, walking around every day, hearing it, seeing it. I gotta be a Beyonce. I gotta be a Tyson Beckford. I gotta be a Sexy Red or whatever you want to eat. So all those are pressures, societal pressures that really, really tear down our mental capacity to understand that we are a very special set of logos. And my logo set, basically, I have made universal pieces to where I can have people like you be a part of my life because I made a universal set.
Diverse, yeah. You find how you can relate.
Exactly. So we figure out how your set can match my set. Now we can grow. Yeah. And if you know anything about Legos, that's why I use Lego. Just think of how intricate, how small a Lego piece is, but how intricate it could build. There are Lego houses. There are Lego statues. There are Lego castles. And each one of them was a little bit piece that kept to another little piece. And it made this big, beautiful piece.
But it's because you decided to not put yourself in a box.
Yes.
And to love yourself. Because when you are ashamed of certain parts of yourself, you're now blinded to what could help you, play that part of being a catalyst to grow into the next version of who you're supposed to be.
Yeah. I say who you are. Because it's all in us. It's all us. Like I said, that if we want to say what we feel that, who we were, who we weren't. Sorry, Miss Murphy. I messed that up. That's my English teacher. We weren't. Think about it in this aspect. Every 24 to 48 hours, our skin changes as human beings. Yeah. Every one of us. Our skin completely changes.
It dies off, yeah.
So it may all come off, but you get a scrub until you then get a scrub and get it off. Anyway, every 24 to 48 hours, I think max top, we in a different skin. We are a totally different person. So we still, like I had told one of my friends the other day, I said, you walk around trying to be that person you were 30 days ago.
Oh!
When you really weren't that person 2 days ago. So how are you trying to be that person when you're not even that person? I mean, your body knows you're not that person.
Right.
But in your head and mind, you think you're the same person.
But that's how life can really start. Like you start getting depressed and anxious and down, and you don't know what's going on because you're trying to hold yourself back from growing.
Yeah, and your body's already doing it.
Yeah.
So long like your body is struggling to match with, your body knows where you're supposed to go. But your mind is holding your body back. Your body's like, no.
It's a disconnection.
You need to get rid of that skin I just got rid of 48 hours ago. And let's start working on this new one.
Wow.
And our body knows it.
Yeah.
Our body knows how to fix us eventually if we let it. Or if we listen to it, let me say it that way. So if we listen to our body tells us how to fix it. Yeah. So if we ignore our body, that's when stuff starts breaking. And that same person I was talking to when I was talking about that was the gentleman actually was having lower back pains. As men, as we get older, once we hit 45, there's a whole other set of rules. Not saying women don't go through it, but men, we go through a whole other set of rules We get to 50, there's a whole nother level of shots and all these other things that we have to do in relation to becoming these distinguished gentlemen, as you want to say it. He was having lower back pains, right? Lower back pain. So he was going to a chiropractor, and you know, they were having him do this, and he was going to a chiropractor almost like for at least 3 months, I mean, for sure, right?
Wow.
And x-rays, treatment, doing whatever, back popping, all these other things that they do, right? And I asked him one day, I was like, okay, hey, so when is your physical? Because where you work, he's doing physical once a year, right? I said, when are you doing your next physical? He's like, okay, so he did physical, and there was a higher level of creatine in his kidney. So they went to start doing some checks. So they started doing some checks. They found a small kidney stone. So they put him on some medication and told him, you know, change his diet a little bit. He did all that. And all his back pains went away. So they weren't back pains at all.
Wow.
They were kidney pains. Which just so happened to be in his lower back. So basically, we teach ourselves to ignore stuff.
Yes.
We teach ourselves to ignore stuff. Like if we listen to our body will tell us. If your knee hurt, your knee is hurting for a reason.
Yes.
You need to stop and analyze, why is it hurting? Did I walk up the stairs? Did I fall? Did whatever? If I take an aspirin and it stopped hurting, and you keep on going, and then it'll start hurting again 3 months from now, and you take another aspirin, no, it stopped, and then 3 months again later, it hurts again. Okay, did you just miss it? This is a pattern. But we're taught to ignore so much, to quick fix so much.
Yeah. We
ignore the longevity of pieces.
Cover it up, nasty.
Yeah, so luckily, like for him, they were able to catch it sooner. You know, like I said, kidney stones were much, much smaller. And creatine levels instantly dropped.
Wow.
So everybody, pay attention, ask questions. That's why you need to know you. That's not just from a physical, that's from a mental, physical, emotional.
I was going to say, we talking about a knee, but we not talking about a knee.
No, we're talking about a whole.
Listen to yourself. Listen to your thoughts. Listen to your triggers. Listen to when you're sad. Listen to when you're in spaces and you feel uncomfortable. Listen to all of those things.
I totally agree with you on that. You need to listen. And a lot of time, we're so locked in the visual, that's why we're not able to hear. We're so, you know, particularly inside of the queer world, vanity runs deep.
Okay.
We have to look a certain way and all these other pieces, and there's so much acknowledgement to that in that it exists. And it's not just in our same gender loving world, it's in heterosexual world, it's in the whole world, to be honest. There's a vanity piece that this whole country thrives on. It has been monetized, seriously monetized, to where you have to have this, or you have to wear this, or whatever the case. You can have your own sense of style. You know, that goes, like, people have exactly what I wear. I'm like, I just put on something. If I feel like that, I'm putting it on. And that is a lot of times where people see, because I do have a confidence level, so I feel like I can wear anything I want.
Period.
Anytime I want to wear it. So, like, we have a problem with it. It really is personal. I don't have anything to do with it.
Oh.
That's all you know, let me know when y'all get over it.
Okay.
Because clearly it's two people inside there.
Because I love myself. When you love yourself,
it don't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So all those pieces are listening. I say listen with all of your senses. Listen with all of your senses. Not just, if you're going to see, listen to what you're seeing. If you're going to smell, listen to what you're smelling.
Yeah.
If you're going to hear, listen to what you're hearing. You know what I mean? Add that listening skill to it. And then you're going to learn, you'll be able to add every one of your sensories to that same equation eventually.
Wow.
Because your body's going to do it naturally.
Yeah.
your body's going to do it so natural. It's like, I was on ASU campus 2 weeks ago. We was out there for the Are You Good event, and it was focused around suicide prevention. It was right at the end of September, because suicide prevention month. So it's right toward the end of it, but it's the same thing for mental health. And 2 Nigerian students came over to my table, and they were coming over and asked about what our organization was about. And my executive director kept asking me, "What did you say? What did you say? What did you say?" And I'm looking at her, I could see that a little bit of the frustration was on her face, particularly because her accent was Nigerian, of course.
Yeah.
And it's like, now keep telling more what you're saying over and over. And ironically, the first time you said it, I understood every word. And I told her, oh, actually, I didn't know the other students are Nigerian. So she started talking. And I said, "Oh, where are you from?" And she said, "Oh, Nigeria." I said, "Oh, okay, great." I said, "How are you like in Alabama?" She said, "Oh, school." I said, "Okay, so what do you major in?" And she was like, "Being a scientist." And she was like, "Wow." I said, "Oh, gosh." I said, "So you're doing the Southern food?" And I was having a conversation. And then she stopped me. She was like, "You can understand me?"
Wow.
I said, "Yes. Am I not supposed to?"
Right.
And she was like, "No, it's just so frustrating. People keep asking me over and over." I said, "Baby, let me tell you something. You're Nigerian, right?" I said, "Don't ever stop being Nigerian. If they can't understand you, that's their problem.
Wow.
Don't internalize what they can't do."
Yes.
So
again.
not internalize what they cannot do.
Oh.
And she was like, "Oh my God, that is so amazing." She called her friend up. Just be like me. So they came from me and met me. I was like, promise me you would never stop being Nigerian. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're back home, don't stop. If you're here in the South, I said, I understood you because I grew up in the South and we talk fast. So, and I've lived across the country. I have a lot of Caribbean friends. I have a lot of African friends. So just being around them, you learn to pick up certain words and listen. And I just started paying attention to mouth.
Yeah.
If you start paying attention to people's mouth, listening,
your senses,
combination, right? You will now understand just about everything they would say. Now, if you start talking some native tongue stuff, yeah, you may get like I may know some words, like, oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Yeah.
But if you're speaking American, as long as I learn where you would put that accent or that apostrophe on something, or more accent on this side of it, like some people may say Caribbean and some people may say Caribbean. It's like just those, small changes.
Yeah.
Simply tell you who's from the island, who's not from the island.
Right.
Simple stuff like that. And people just do pay attention to that, but I do. Because for me, it's like as they say, I'm an attention whore. So I pay attention to everything.
And you're relatable.
So, that's it.
You made yourself relatable. I want to bring this full circle.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
I want to bring this thing full circle. Right? So we started off, we was talking about how you was put in this place, you grew to not love yourself, right? And then you reach this point to where one person spoke something over you, and they acknowledge your gift, your light, right? And from that point, they planted a seed and ignited something that caused you to love yourself, which then caused you to advocate for other people that's been in a situation like yours. And the only reason you was able to advocate for them, because everyone's situation is different, even when y'all do have certain things in common, there's still different aspects of it, right? So because you made yourself relatable, at that point is when you were able to not only speak up for other people, but to understand yourself while you're also understanding all the pieces of yourself. So I don't want to prolong this. So I got two questions for you to wrap up. The first question is, what advice would you give people to help them overcome failure or to learn to adapt to failure and stop reverting backwards when they're faced with that roadblock?
The first rule I would say to answer that is to stop. We, as a society, we don't want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can jump right into why we want it fast. I can give you a great example of my grandparents. Basically, I'm like, how did you meet? How did y'all meet? They met because they all went to the same church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the case. I asked my dad, how did you meet my mom?
Mm-hmm.
He used to throw rocks at her. Walking to school because they all walk to school. When you just throw rocks at her, that's how you had my mom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, my joke with her, like, we still talking about. But to get further deep into the answer is like, okay, society has taught us to do things so fast and want things so fast. The first thing I would tell an individual that's challenged, that's met a challenge of no, if they want to call it no, or met a challenge of something's wrong, if they want to call it something's wrong, or they met a challenge of I can't go on, or what do I do? Those are challenges that we all meet, right? When you come up to that challenge, no matter what it is, and no matter what equation, any part of your life, the first thing you need to do is stop. Stand still. And for some people, they physically have to do it. Some people can mentally do it, but majority of people literally physically have to do it to teach their mind that they can do it. Right?
It's all connected.
It's all connected. So when you stop, literally, physically, or however, when you stop, now you get to see, and you will see what's moving around you, and you'll see if you get a chance to now be aware of your surroundings in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're there looking at your surroundings, it's almost like Deborah Cox. How did I get here? How did I get here? I tell you how to get here. That's accountability talking.
Mm-hmm.
That's accountability talking, saying, wait a minute, Marco, how did you get here? Or individual, how did you get here? What part did I play in it? If I played this part, I always allowed this person to talk to me like that, and now I'm just fed up. Okay, you allowed and taught that person, so now you're being accountable for what place you played in it. Even if it's bad or good in your head, it could have been something good, like, oh my God, or you didn't do anything wrong. Like most people can gravitate toward relationships, right? Oh my God, we broke up, and oh my goodness, it was his fault, it was her fault, or whatever the case. I say stop. Same thing. Take accountability of what part you played in why she cheated on you. Take a part in why you cheated on her. Or y'all just don't get along, or maybe just communication, and then y'all just want to be around each other because y'all thought accompany each other to that party. But when real stuff started happening, you just found out neither one of y'all had lifestyle skills. So I'm still like, so accountable is inside of that. Stop. Do an evaluation of self. Yeah, and with that, while you do an evaluation of self, now when you go to step out and do anything, again, this could be anything. Like I said, anything you consider wrong, right, a no, or whatever the case, anything like fear is usually what channels a lot of this stuff.
Fear, rejection.
There you go. It's like that's the emotion fear is the easiest emotion that human beings get to, and the fastest one for some reason.
Yeah.
We'll go to fear first, and for some reason we feel like, that we're confident in chaos again, right? In other words, so when you get there and do this, and you look at your surrounding and hold yourself accountable, don't forget that what you just went through was also a map.
Yeah.
It was a map. I tell people all the time, look at a leaf on a tree. If you look at a leaf on a tree, it has a cycle of life, right? Okay, so a leaf is attached to a limb. The limb is attached to the tree. The tree is rooted in the ground. It takes a force of nature for the tree to be uprooted, right?
Right.
But that tree always stays. Okay, so if that tree always stays, that tree is you.
Mm-hmm.
That tree is you.
Look at
So now, exactly.
Yep.
So now your limbs are extensions of you.
Mm-hmm.
So if I have an extension of a boyfriend, I have an extension of a career, I have extensions of a financial, I have an extension of a mental. On those extensions, the leaves grow.
Yeah.
So on those leaves, if you look at a leaf, there's a vein from the limb that goes to the leaf. And then on the leaf itself, there are veins on the leaf. Now, if you look at the leaf closely, and depending on how big the leaf is, do the veins grow outside the leaf, or do they just stop at the edge?
Right.
They stop at the edge. So we have to learn in a leaf concept of our body and mental and everything else that we do in the same concept. That leaf is now an extension of me to the fullest, with the potential to grow to the first edge it can grow.
Yes.
Now, it's going to be some leaves that fall out. Some leaves stay. Let's hope you're evergreen. They kind of stay all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're an oak tree, they're going to dry up. But there's a process to that. They're supposed to dry. They're supposed to drop off. They're supposed to die off, hit the ground, become fertilized to feed your roots again. They're supposed
Come on, failures.
They're supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing. But if you study that leaf, it has a stem that goes up the middle of it, and it has all these little, almost like little patterns. You'll look at a leaf and you see it grows out. Those patterns are us standing still. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Just think about a growth of a leaf and how each of those veins had to figure out which way it was going to go. Not knowing if it's going to be the last end or if it's going to be the beginning of a big leaf.
Right.
It doesn't know. All it knows is to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It doesn't stop growing.
Trust the process.
Trust the process, right? Ride it out. But again, stop. Accountability. See what is around you, what caused you to do what you need to do. And then understand your pattern. Now use it as a map and a reference point to where you may not be able to go back now.
Yes.
Because if you know that when your end goes to that end of the leaf and it's not prosperous, I can't go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can go back to the main stem.
Yeah.
Because I can get nutrients from the limb. Let's get nutrients from the whole tree.
Yeah.
When we get nutrients from the ground,
Right.
I can always go back there. But if I go that way and I don't get to nothing on the end, I don't go back down the road again.
Period.
So every failure teaches everything that everybody considers a failure.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches us something.
Yeah.
It teaches us something. What it teaches us is to stop, stand still, analyze where we're at, use that knowledge as a reference point
Mm-hmm.
to not go back.
Yeah.
However, as we all know, fear runs in, oh my God, the devil's busy. Yeah, he may be. I ain't gonna say he's not.
Mm-hmm.
But the first question I always ask people, if the devil's been busy, have you been busy?
Okay.
Because if you haven't been busy,
you got open.
yes,
You allow in your life.
Hey,
in your space.
That's that shadow work, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't been busy with your shadow work, the devil wouldn't have room to be here. So I don't invite that to my space.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. You would never probably hear me say about the devil's been busy in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't invite the devil in.
Okay, I'm looking at me first.
Yeah, it's like
everything at the devil.
We're talking about me. And then why am I doing this devil? You know what I mean, right? So my whole thing is like inside of that. Like I said, it's so much meat in that. It's like so much meat in that. How and what a person needs to do is just stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then analyze.
Yes.
Stop, analyze, learn from the maps that was just shown to you.
Yeah.
And once you have your map down, and it doesn't matter if the map fails or your plan of attack fails, there's nothing but progress to grow again, right?
Exactly.
Do the same thing. It doesn't matter how many times you do it, just keep doing it. It's the ultimate goal.
Yes.
Never stop doing it.
Mhm.
You are supposed to evolve. You've been evolving ever since you were an egg and a sperm meeting up.
Okay.
You're going to evolve even after they put you in the ground or whatever you want to do formation wise.
Okay.
You still will evolve. Even if you're burned, you're still going to evolve to ash or something, right? So
Yes.
you will evolve.
Keep evolving.
It's part of human nature.
Yeah.
This is what we're supposed to do. It's like,
Yeah.
so stop trying to disrupt your destiny walk. You
Mhm.
know, right? So
Yeah.
oh gosh, but yes, that would be what I would say to someone.
I love that. So we're stopping.
Mhm.
When you feel triggered, when you're dealing with a failure, when you didn't get the job, when you can't find a job, when your finances seem like they've reached a threshold that you just cannot surpass, when you find yourself in friend groups that aren't, aligned with who you are and who you're becoming, when you're in all these spaces, you're gonna stop, right?
Mhm.
You're gonna self-eval, right? We're gonna look at all the pieces. We're going to take accountability of the part that we play, because we can't blame nobody else for what they did. We can't blame X group for what they did. All we can do is take accountability for the part we play in accepting the job or accepting the relationship or allowing people to treat us certain ways.
True.
You're going to look at that and you're going to create a map out of it. And from that map, your lessons, you move forward.
Very, very. Well, I'd say it's such a simple plan. It is a very, very simple plan.
It makes it so much harder than it has.
We do. And I was talking to one of my trans female friends, and she had mentioned to me she read one of my I gave her one of my books, and she was like, "Oh my God!" She said, "You really do think life is easy?" I said, "Yes." She said, "But but look at you though, you're super successful." And I was like, I said, "Wait a minute, what?" And she was like, "Well, yeah." She's like, you're financially sound, and I mean, you have a job, and you have a nice car, you have a beautiful house." And I said, "What does that have to do with anything?"
Okay.
And she was like, "Well, she's like, you can say that because you don't have a care in the world." I said, "Who told you that?"
Right.
I said, "Who told you that?" I said, "You can look at my Instagram page." I said, "You can
Get off social media.
I said, "So you think you know me from
Come on.
where?" I said, "You never been to my house. And the only reason you know what kind of car I drive because you're looking at it right there. What car right there." I said, "And then you only know me from work. I mean, from what you see here at work.
Yeah.
Just my work ethic and how I deal with people, particularly income disparities and food disparities. And just anybody who comes into our center, it's like, this is just who you see me."
Right.
I said, "But
this is like,
I said,
5%.
exactly, right?" I'm like, this is nowhere near. And she was like, "Well, then you make it look really easy." I said, "Well, I must make it look real easy." I said, "Because I can give you a whole slew of things."
And you and me both.
Yeah. I said, "I can give you a whole slew of things." I said, "But the most cherished and the most blessed feeling that I have," when I told her, I was like, most blessed feeling that I have is something I learned from my parents. It's something also has been reinforced by Yoruba dad. And it's also been reinforced from the ancestors that talked to him, that he tell me about me. They reinforced in my Reiki masters in Houston and Florida and California. They're reinforced by that. I said, it's also reinforced by the people I keep around me, friends, associates. I'm very selective in who I let into my personal home.
Yeah.
And that. But those are personal spaces for me, and those are very emotional driven spaces. And because I love hard, I play hard,
Yeah.
I work hard. All those are marked, right? Mm-hmm. I know those are pieces of me. So I get super protected when those things come into play with other people. Mm-hmm. And people will be like, "Oh my God, I knew you were this aggressive." Well, I'm not really aggressive. I think I'm more protective.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Bear is going to protect.
Okay, the claws will come.
Yes, if I need to. Now, it may take a lot of energy out of me later. I may have to sleep 2 days.
Okay.
But,
I feel that.
but it is there. But I've learned to stop the same process. I've learned to stop, manage, and say, hey, this person's not worth me. Why would this person have that much power over me? Well, let me rephrase that. Why would I naturally give someone that much power over me?
Yeah.
When they're walking on about their way, and I'm still over here dealing with something that they ain't thought nothing else about, right? So why would I continue to do that? So in how that happened, I've learned to meet people where they are naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't always have to be, I'm gonna cut you, bitch. It could be like, oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. Well, good. Now you said that, I'm glad you brought that up. Because let's go down this road. Let's do this, that. And they're like, well, why are we doing all this? I said, because I need you to do a map and how you took me there. Because I need to understand how you got there. Because I don't think you understand how you got there first, that you just brought this to me. And then now I have to show you your map. And when I'm showing you your map, you're like, yeah, I said, I'm not trying to be smart. I'm just showing you why you think like that and why you thought that was okay to do.
Hey, you better than me, because I'm just about to. Damn, where Casey go? Go.
Because I think everything is a teaching moment for everyone.
And it is.
And people, a lot of times, much like the young lady I was speaking about, and she was saying everything was, she don't think life was easy. I'm like, well, what's hard?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any money. I said, what do you need money for? I got to pay bills and all this other. I said, okay, I'm not saying you don't need a house over here, a house. Okay, so are you living somewhere you can't afford? Do you need to find someone downsize?
Right. Ask the questions.
I don't really want to move. I said, okay, hey, that's first market. You don't want to move, but if you move, you may be able to save money that can help you do more things over here.
Come on.
I said, so now we have a financial piece in your head, what you think you need versus the things things you want rather than things that you need. I said, so now that same thing I just told you about, I said, you realize I was homeless at some point in time. Again, the majority of my friends didn't even know it. Not the first year I lived in New York, but maybe like my second year and a half, I was homeless in New York. In halfway houses, at the YMCA, at a boarding house. While I still work for Sears Holding and while I still model with New York management and I was a creative director for a company in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow.
So that's why nobody thought anything was wrong. I was still doing these things, but I was homeless.
You didn't let it stop you.
No, it's like when this was a culmination when I moved back to Atlanta. We started the process to move back to Atlanta. A friend of mine, we're back friends now, but at the time, he put me out of this house. And I was like, oh, wow. There was a substance issue that was inside of that. And if I'm your friend, I'm your friend. I mean, how our friendship is. I'm there. It's like, you pick up that phone, you need something, I'm trying my best to do it. And I'm going to find somebody that can do it.
Right.
So inside of that, anything with harm reduction and stuff of that nature, there's always this whole piece of you have to acknowledge your own place in substance use first before anybody can help you.
Yeah.
You have to want the help. But a friend of mine is a curator for a museum there in New York. He was like, what are you doing? Or what are you going to do? He said, no, we're going to call HR. It's HR as far as human resources in New York. And we're going to find you a place to stay. I said, no, I just want to go back to Atlanta. I just want to go and just, he said, no, you're connected here. You work for Sears Holding. He's like, you're in the middle of doing all of the My Gophers, which is their personal shopping program. That's Kmart, that's Sears. I did all the beta testing for that for them, and established my thing is still running. So I was doing all of that, modeling. All these other pieces I had were working. He's like, no, you're too rooted in the city right now. You need to get up and go back to Atlanta and just drop everything else will be a detriment to you. And all this hard work you put into this. Don't do this to yourself. And you're going to stay here. You're going to stay here. So I ended up staying with him that night. I just remember it's like he made me a bacon and egg spinach dish. He cooked some ziti, and he cooked the apple pie. And I just remember he had just one of like the softest bed. I was like, what is this thing? You know, it's like I didn't be. I just you just lost yourself. Like,
Nice.
But I remember all of that because those were things that comforted me in that very, very moment that I felt like I had lost like everything.
So do you feel like your way of getting through those days was like the people you surrounded yourself with?
Exactly. So I had to really start looking back. Who do I have around me?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, I can say at that point, my friendship with all our circle of friends took a huge shift.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it was almost like everybody was on a microscope at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, what's your purpose? What's your purpose? What's your purpose? Now, I was just one of those lucky people to where the only person I really had to put on a microscope was the person that actually put me out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to do that with the others.
Yes.
And we all are still friends. Well, a couple are still friends.
Yeah.
So surrounding yourself with individuals that want to see you succeed.
Yeah, get good soul.
Yes. It is extremely important. It is extremely important to surround yourself. It's not always easy. I ain't gonna tell you, I ain't gonna lie to you. Because there'll be some people out there fool you for 3 months. You think they're there for a year.
Switch up on
you switch it up on you. Be like, trying to see what you can do for them. And particularly I work, like I said, for me, from the entertainment world, whatever. So of course I have celebrity friends and I get in here, I know people here, I do this, do that, and people naturally gravitate toward my energy. I already know that. I'm a people gatherer. I already know that. And it does come from every angle, literally. And then by me being an empath, that takes it to a whole other level. I'm now absorbing mental energy as I do all the time.
Yeah.
But I have to learn how to ground myself. I learn how to, if I need to get barefoot and go walk on Mother Earth outside to ground myself, I do that. If I need to go to the beaches inside of the Caribbean or the Caribbean, and for the waters of our African diaspora trails, hitting the water shore, energizing the sand to ground myself. Those are processes are just naturally part of my travel now.
I love that.
And people are like, you always travel. You always having a good time. But I travel with purpose.
Okay. I love
I travel with purpose.
To know you is truly to love you.
Oh,
thank you. Is. And as we're wrapping up, tell the people about, I know you said you have a book, share your social medias, let them know your organizations, what to expect for you.
Okay. Where do I start? I'll start with this. I am the program director for Montgomery Pride United. I'm also the program director for another study called HB 10096, which is a peer support program. It is dedicated to demographics to Black same gender loving males, Black bisexual males, and it's the only study that has ever included Black trans males living in the South. And we're coming to our almost like 4th year inside of it with different interventions. We have a peer support piece, which is at Montgomery Pride United. We have a coalition piece, health coalition piece. That one sits at Central Alabama Alliance Advocacy and Resource Center, KRAC. And that one focuses on health equity, which basically means if any of the demographic that I just mentioned goes to a doctor's office or an organization, it's affirming for that individual. It's almost like me being a black, same gender loving male. If I go into that office and all the pictures I see are white, same gender loving males, I may not feel affirmed in that. So it's really affecting many of those social economic determinants that we can experience as black people, particularly black, same gender loving people. And then there's a social media piece that's pretty much self-explanatory, but we understand our demographic use of social media in different aspects. So we also take this to different levels as far as like hookup sites, it's like Jack or Grindr or Daddies or any of those other online hookup sites. We want to jump into also focusing on lessening sex stigma or sex shaming in a sense, because sex is a part of us. We humans. Let's go ahead and say that. So inside of that, sexual health is a huge piece of that. And then the other last piece is the CRIS component, which is basically the medical place. And the overall of the study is basically to minimize stigmas about HIV and AIDS, and also more education about U and PrEP. And then also getting our numbers down as far as HIV contractions. I think not contractions. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's another word. Infections. And on top of that, yeah, there is a book. Oh my God, my mind's all over.
I know you got so much.
So there's a book, but the book's been out with Sweet Sweet Publishing. I call it Dr. Winnie Coleman over at ASU. She's over the liberal arts department, and she has a publishing company. And I had the pleasure of being the moderator for the Women of God book, not knowing she would set me up to be in the Man of God book.
Wow.
So about 13 of us, and about 4 of us aren't men of cloth, but the rest of them are men of cloth. And we all had to write a storyline in relation to a topic she gave us. I think about 2,700 words or something like that for the book. And it's called Man of God, and it's a very empowering, inspirational book. And it's very much talking about, my segment was like, hey God, I'm here kind of thing, right? So from there, it boils out to working on a personal organization called the Black Cave. And with the Black Cave, it's nothing but black, saint, gender-loving males in the Montgomery area, Tri-County area, Montgomery, Ottawa, and Elmore, that want the betterment for the community. And we have 3 intervention pieces we focus on: community, sexual health, and this piece we call PYB, which stands for Pack Your Bags. And it's nothing but a development piece. It's like, if we're going to get up as a group, let's go down to the water fountain, do our thing, and then disperse. If we don't go, let's go to Atlanta, or let's go to Florida, or let's go to Africa, as a group. The ultimate piece of the Black Cave is to start building community, because community exists here, but it sits in so many silos in our area that some people do this and some people do that and some people do this. But ironically, when we start getting into anything from like sexual health, let's say, anything from a sexual health perspective, then everybody want to come to the table. Because when we get through trauma with anything with sexual health, we want to run to get the help. Versus having some type of community out here to where that can help you with preventive. Like, hey, if you don't like using condom, if you like skin to skin, let's get some more information about spermicides for you.
Yeah.
And then now pay attention. Don't brush your teeth. If you're going to go hook up somebody in the bush, don't brush your teeth at least 30 minutes or 45 minutes before you go, if that's what you like doing in the bush. So start teaching those pieces of educating yourself about you. Again, it's all the way down to knowing you. And I also sit on our EHE board for the state. I don't sit on the board, I sit on a committee. And one of the things I always teach people, they say 30 minutes, right? On 30 years, they want to get to this whole thing, 30% of HIV infection breaks down. And I'm like, we're not going to get there until we start dealing with the human first. We're not going to get this epidemic until we start dealing with humans. And oh wow! On top of that, books, artwork. I'm still working on. Art projects are coming up. I mean, there's so many pieces that are coming up. I just say just follow me on social media.
What's your tag?
The real Marco Mays is the tag that'll take you from Facebook to Instagram as well. So you'll see. And then I'm also have a personal company called Live Like an Icon, to where we'll be tackling a few other things like On the Couch with Sir Icon, and there's also my page where you can hire me for logistics or hire me for events management or hire me to come speak. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Wow.
This has been amazing.
Thank you.
This is just the beginning. I will definitely put his social medias below as well so that y'all can be able to find him and contact him if you would like, if you need education, if you want to get him in y'all cities as a speaker or whatever the case may be for collaborations. But once again, thank you y'all for tuning in so much, Royal Tribe. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, share, comment your favorite parts, comment what you got out of it, and stay tuned. Peace, love, and blessings.